Whale sharks and manta rays. A chance to swim with these huge creatures is what brought me to the Maldives. I was in Dubai for work, had some Emirates miles to blow, and a shiny new scuba hobby to evolve. Those following along know I like animal encounters, and the Maldives was supposed to offer some of the best in the world. I actually took the opportunity to do my advanced open water dive certification, as I plan to dive during most of my days, and I just love the efficiency of seeing the wildlife and getting that done all at once. This is way easier than the initial cert, and means I can now go as far down as 100 feet deep. First off, the water of the Maldives absolutely lives up to the hype. See my other video for the resort experience, but wow, this place is picturesque. Just gorgeous, perfect turquoise near the land, and temperatures in the 80s, so I didn't even need a wetsuit 100 feet down. Can you see the color? I don't know if this is accurately capturing the color. We have a new winner for best water I've ever seen, and it's this. All of this. Add to that the variety of wildlife and the abundance. Every resort has their house reef, and even during my refresher dive at the beginning, we were just surrounded by it. You can stand on the pier at the restaurant and watch blacktip reef sharks in the 4-foot deep water, raised to. There was no shortage of animals at any of the dive sites I visited. But by far the highlights here are mantas and whale sharks. You aren't going to spot a whale shark while scuba diving unless it's a random encounter, but you can try to find manta rays. They congregate at feeding stations, basically reefs known for the food that they like. So we hung out nearby, and occasionally, out of the gloom, these huge shapes come gliding in. In the Maldives, the average size is about 10 or 11 feet across, but they get bigger. They also like the bubbles generated by scuba divers, so the strategy here is to hold onto a rock and remain still, and they'd sometimes glide right over us. Particularly cool to see the snorkelers far above trying to get a look too. I was one of those snorkelers later on in the trip, and let me tell you, the scuba experience is far superior. To see a whale shark is a different story. They cruise along at a pretty quick clip, so the strategy is you go out on a boat for a few hours, just drive around trying to spot one that's chilling near the surface in shallow water. Then you get out in front of them, jump off the boat with your snorkel gear, and try to keep up as they swim past. Kind of like a jungle safari looking for big cats. Sometimes you find one, sometimes you don't. Some luck, some skill. And these guys do it every day, so they're up there standing on top of the boat sometimes looking around. I desperately wanted to see one, so I signed up for 2 of these outing trips and got lucky as we found one on both trips. Both were special, but different. The first time was shorter, but we had it all to ourselves. The other people on my boat were lame, so it was just me and the guide swimming with this magnificent animal. Whale sharks in the Maldives are on the younger side, still 20-something feet long. Just incredible. So this is happening. Second time was more typical, I think. We found one in a very shallow area, so it wasn't going to dive down anytime soon, and the boat guys got on their radios and brought others that were also out looking. We had many boats worth of people interested, but most people are terrible at swimming, and I had fins, so I kept up with this guy for must have been 10 or 15 minutes. Sometimes we were nearly alone. Sometimes a new group of people would enter the water ahead and need like elbowing past, like the start of a triathlon when you all run in the water, then they get left in the dust behind. We, of course, weren't allowed to touch them, but I could have. It was right there. Huge. This was a bucket list item for me, and I was so happy to get the chance to swim alongside them. It was the #1 thing that I wanted to do. These snorkel trips also have great opportunities for swimming with sea turtles, and they're another favorite of mine. Another cool thing was, as one of my certification dives, we did a wreck dive. Pretty crazy to see a big ship like this in such clear water. You can see a lot of it, but also it disappears into the murk menacingly. I spent most of my time in the water on this trip, and it was just island paradise, snorkel and scuba. You aren't going to get necessarily like vibrant Finding Nemo reefs, but I think the Maldives lives up to its promise of being pretty freaking incredible.